Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. In the local scene, the Albay Provincial Health Office is urging the public to take extra precautions against heat-related illnesses as the province continues to experience persistently high heat index levels. Acting Provincial Health Officer Dr. Albay PIO advises residents to stay alert for symptoms of heat-related illnesses, which may include intense thirst, headaches, dizziness, nausea, heavy sweating, muscle cramps, weakness, and a rapid heart rate. Dr. Zenit warned that heat-related conditions such as dehydration, heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke can pose serious health risks if not addressed promptly. To reduce the risk of heat-related illnesses, she stressed the importance of avoiding prolonged sun exposure, especially between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Staying hydrated, wearing light and loose-fitting clothing, and using protective items like umbrellas, hats, or handheld fans when outdoors is also strongly recommended. Albay PIO further advises the public to keep their bodies cool by using fans, ice packs, and staying in shaded or air-conditioned spaces. If someone exhibits signs of heat-related illness, they should be moved immediately to a cooler, shaded area away from direct sunlight. In cases of emergency, the public is encouraged to call 911 or the Department of Health hotline at 1555. In other story, the United Nations Development Program and Albay Public Safety and Emergency Management Office are collaborating to strengthen data governance in order to effectively manage disaster risk-related incidents in Albay. This initiative follows a recent workshop on data governance, which was attended by various relevant departments in the provincial government of Albay. The workshop aimed to implement effective measures during typhoons by utilizing reliable sources and accurate data. Eugene Vincent N. Escobar, head of the Research and Statistics Division at APSEMO, emphasized that disaster response during emergencies should be based on valid data. In support of these initiatives, representatives from different departments, including planning, agriculture, environment, and administration, shared their insights on how to effectively use data in decision-making process. In the national scene, the Pre-Trial Chamber 1 of the International Criminal Court acknowledged the documents provided by the registry to verify the identities of alleged victims of former President Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs. Duterte, who is currently detained by the ICC in The Hague, Netherlands, faces serious allegations of crimes against humanity. For victims' applicants, depending on declarations confirmed by two witnesses as evidence of identity, the Chamber indicated that it would assess this on a case-to-case basis, pending evaluations and recommendations from the registry. This approach addresses concerns raised by Duterte's legal team, which had previously sought to restrict the types of identification documents permissible in the proceedings. The Chamber has instructed the registry to facilitate common legal representation for the victims, thereby balancing the court's resources with the victims' fundamental right to engage meaningfully in the process. However, the Chamber cautioned that while it is essential to protect the interests of victim applicants, it is premature to allow previously appointed lawyers to participate until common legal representation is established. In the interim, the Office of Public Counsel for Victims will safeguard the collective interests of the applicants. In other story, the Department of Information and Communications Technology has started a crackdown against fake news and organized troll armies on social media to safeguard the integrity of the electoral process. In a news release, the ICT Secretary Henry Aguda announced the agency's collaboration with the Commission on Elections on several key initiatives to enhance the technological infrastructure of the elections. These initiatives include the establishment of configuration hubs, where the ICT personnel will assist in managing the hubs during the election process, as well as the development of online services such as the Precinct Results Finder, Registration Status Verifier, and Election Results website, all aimed at ensuring transparency and providing real-time access to election data. The DICT Cybersecurity Bureau is also rolling out critical initiatives such as vulnerability assessment and penetration testing to identify and mitigate security risks and ensure the security of digital infrastructures throughout the election process. Aguda also recognized the growing influence of social media platforms in the election and welcomed the stance of technology giants TikTok, Google, and Meta, who pledged to ban paid political ads on their platforms. In other news, the Philippine government has signaled its strong intent for a strategic economic alignment with the United States amid global challenges. In a meeting with U.S. Senator Pete Crickets, Senator Chris Coons, and Senator Ted Budd, Trade Secretary Christina Roque said Manila is open to forge deeper engagement with the U.S. as a strategic economic partner in an increasingly complex global environment. Roque said Manila is keen on bolstering cooperation in critical sectors, including clean energy, digital infrastructure, transport modernization, and fiscal sustainability. In 2024, the U.S. imported $14.2 billion from the Philippines, a 6.9% increase from 2023 level, while exports to the Philippines during the same year reached $9.3 billion. According to the DTI, the U.S. accounted for 17% of Philippine exports in 2024. Key imports from the Philippines are semiconductor devices and computer peripherals, automobile parts, electric machinery, textiles and garments, wheat and animal feeds, coconut oil, and information technology business process outsourcing services. U.S., meanwhile, exports agriculture goods, machinery, cereals, raw and semi-processed materials for the manufacture of semiconductors, electronics, and transport equipment. The landmark 123 agreement, or the U.S.-Philippines Agreement for Cooperation in Peaceful Uses of Nuclear Energy signed in 2023, also entered into force last year, which allows the transfer of information, nuclear material, equipment, and components, and directly between the two states. And in the news outside the country, the damage from massive wildfires last month in South Korea's North Gyeongsang province is twice the initial government estimate. The wave of forest fires burned nearly 90,000 hectares of land in 5 cities and counties in the province, according to a government-led joint investigation. Initially, the Korea Forest Service put the estimated damage at 45,157 hectares. The wildfires, which also affected South Gyeongsang Province, destroyed an estimated 4,000 structures, including the 1,300-year-old Gunsa Temple, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, along with homes and factories. The damage is sharply higher than the 23,794 hectares burned by wildfires on the East Coast in 2000, which were the worst in the nation's history at the time. The forest authorities plan to verify the exact extent of the damage and announce it soon. And finally, in the news outside the country, the Chinese government will remain steadfast in its commitment to multilateralism, free trade, and cooperation with the rest of the world. Ambassador to the Philippines Wang Zilian said this is China's way of countering the U.S.'s chosen path of protectionism, unilateralism, and economic bullying. Huang also expressed China's willingness to hold a dialogue and consultation with the U.S. on the tariff issue. The official said the tariffs imposed by the U.S. on its trading partners severely infringe upon the legitimate rights and interests of all countries, violate World Trade Organization rules, undermine the rules-based multilateral trading system, and destabilize the global economic order. Huang said the Chinese government strongly deplores and firmly rejected U.S. tariff hikes and will do what is necessary to defend its legitimate rights and interests. Despite the 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariffs announced by the U.S. government, Huang said this cannot change the nature of the U.S. seeking private gains through trade blackmail. It also claimed that China's economy has a solid foundation and sufficient driving forces for steady growth and bring much needed stability to the volatile world. And that's all for the news at 12, April 21, 2025. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. Thanks to our news writer, Albay PIO and Erica Dumlao, and on the technical side, Chad Bovis. Of course, our Provincial Information Officer, Mary Luduga Castillo, and under the supervision of our Governor, Baby Glenda Bungao, I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing.